The sky burned red as the human ship fell. Inside the cockpit, alarms screamed, lights flashed, and smoke filled the air. Ethan Cole, a human engineer, gripped the controls with trembling hands. "Come on, stay with me," he shouted to the ship as if it could hear him. Outside, the alien planet spun below, a world of glowing blue forests and black clouds. The ship was shaking apart. Warning lights blinked, oxygen low. Engine failure. Impact in 30 seconds. Ethan tried to steer, but the ship didn't listen anymore. He could only whisper one last word. "Please." Then came the crash. The ship tore through trees like paper. Fire, dust, and metal scattered everywhere. The impact threw Ethan from his seat. He hit the floor hard. Everything went dark, and the world became silent. When he opened his eyes, there was pain. Sharp, burning pain. His suit was cracked, oxygen leaking. He tried to breathe slowly. The forest around him glowed softly with blue light. The trees looked alive, their branches moving like they were watching him. Ethan's body hurt, but he had survived. Somehow, he reached for his pack, checking the scanner. No human signals. He was alone on this alien world. Then he heard it, a sound that didn't belong. It was soft at first, a whimper like a small cry. Then louder. A child. Ethan froze. His first thought, it can't be human. He followed the sound through the smoke and glowing plants. The air shimmered with strange light. Then he saw it, a small creature trapped under a metal beam from his ship. The child's skin was pale silver, with faint lines of light running along its arms. Its eyes were huge and bright blue, glowing faintly. It looked afraid, breathing fast, its tiny hands clawing at the dirt. For a moment, Ethan just stared. He had heard stories of alien worlds, but this was real. The child coughed weakly. Its breathing slowed. It was dying. Ethan's human side took over. He didn't care what it was. No one deserved to die like this. He rushed forward, pushing the beam with all his strength. Metal groaned and shifted. His muscles burned, but he didn't stop. "Hang on, little one," he said softly. Almost there. Finally, the beam rolled away. Ethan fell to his knees, breathing hard. He pulled out his med kit, scanning the child. The device beeped wildly. Its biology was unlike anything in his system. But oxygen, pulse, heartbeat, all fading. He pulled a small injector from his kit, adjusting the dosage. "Please work," he whispered. He pressed it against the child's arm. The body jerked, lights under its skin flickering like fireflies. Then slowly the child started to breathe again. Ethan smiled. "You're okay now." The child blinked at him, confused but calm. Its hand reached out, touching Ethan's glove. The touch was warm, almost human. Then the forest went silent. Ethan felt a chill run down his spine. He turned slowly. From between the glowing trees, something was moving, tall, strong, fast. The sound of heavy steps echoed closer. Branches snapped. The light from the forest dimmed as if afraid. Ethan grabbed his small blaster, standing in front of the child protectively. A shadow emerged. It was not a soldier, not a beast. It was a woman, or something close. Her skin glowed like silver armor, and her eyes burned with blue fire. She had markings across her face like living circuits, and her hair moved in the wind like strands of light. When she saw the child, she froze. Then her eyes found Ethan, and they filled with rage. Ethan raised his hands. "Wait, I helped your child. Look." He pointed at the small alien, now breathing weakly but alive. But the alien woman didn't seem to care. She roared. The sound made the ground shake. Energy shimmered around her hands, forming glowing blades. Ethan stepped back, heart racing. "No, please. I'm not your enemy." She swung her arm, and a bolt of blue light slashed past him, burning a tree in half. Ethan dived aside, rolling into the dirt. He didn't want to fight. His blaster shook in his hands. Then the child spoke, weakly but clearly. "Mother, stop!" The woman froze mid-attack. Her eyes widened. She looked at the child, then at Ethan again. The rage faded into confusion. She knelt beside the child, touching its face gently. The glowing lines on her skin pulsed faster. Emotion, not power. Ethan lowered his blaster slowly. The air was still thick with fear. The alien mother turned her head toward him, her voice deep and strange. "You guys saved my child?" Ethan nodded. "Yes, I couldn't leave it." For a long moment, neither moved. Then, without warning, the woman raised her hand again, but not to attack. A bright flash surrounded them, and before Ethan could react, everything went dark once more. Cliffhanger. End of part 1. When Ethan wakes again, he's no longer in the forest. He's in a glowing cave, the alien child beside him, and the mother watching in silence. He's their prisoner now. When Ethan opened his eyes, everything looked strange. The walls around him glowed like living stone, breathing, pulsing with slow light. The air was cool and smelled like metal and flowers. His head hurt and his arms were tied with glowing bands. He tried to move, but the bands tightened, sending a small electric shock through his skin. "Okay, definitely not friendly," he muttered, his voice echoing in the quiet cave. Then he saw the child, the same alien kid he had saved. It lay on a smooth crystal bed, breathing softly. Its silver skin glimmered faintly. Ethan sighed with relief. "At least you're safe, little one." But he wasn't alone. Across the cave stood the alien woman, tall, graceful, dangerous. Her skin shone like liquid metal, and her eyes glowed with pale blue fire. She was staring at him, silent, unmoving. Her armor looked alive, shifting with every breath. She carried a long weapon that seemed part of her body. Ethan swallowed. "You could start by saying thanks," he said nervously. The woman tilted her head. Her voice was low and echoing. "Human words. Strange sounds." "You speak lies," Ethan frowned. "I'm not lying. I saved your child." She walked closer, slow, cautious steps like a predator. "Humans destroyed our skies, burned our oceans. You think saving one child changes that?" Ethan's stomach twisted. "Destroyed? I don't even know what planet this is." The alien stopped only a few feet away. Her presence was powerful, cold and bright like standing near lightning. "This is Rethar, last home of my kind," she said. "And you are a ghost from the fire that killed it." Ethan's mind spun. He had studied old wars, human colonists expanding, alien resistance. He thought those battles were ancient history. But now, standing before her, he realized they never ended. The alien woman turned away and touched the wall. A light formed, a glowing memory. Ethan saw holographic images appear. Humans in ships dropping bombs, cities burning, alien children screaming. His heart sank. "No, that wasn't me," he whispered. She looked back, her eyes like blades. "You wear their face. You breathe their air. You are them." Ethan took a shaky breath. "Then let me prove I'm not your enemy." Her eyes narrowed. "Why?" He looked at the sleeping child. "Because that little one didn't care who I was when she cried. And I didn't care what she was when I saved her." For the first time, the alien woman hesitated. The blue light in her eyes flickered. She looked at the child. A soft expression passed over her face, one Ethan almost missed. Then the child stirred and opened her eyes. "Mother," the child whispered weakly. "He helped me, please. Don't hurt him." The alien mother's body went still. Her voice softened and barely a whisper. "Sleep, Lyra." The child's eyelids fluttered closed again. Ethan repeated the name in his mind. Lyra. The woman walked closer and touched Ethan's bindings. The glowing ropes dissolved into light. His arms were free. Ethan rubbed his wrists carefully, unsure what to say. She stood over him, expression unreadable. "I am Seren of Rethar," she said quietly. "You live because my child asked it." Ethan nodded slowly. "Then I owe her my life too." There was silence, heavy, thick with things unspoken. Seren turned toward a glowing screen near the wall. Strange symbols flashed across it. Her face darkened. Ethan stepped closer. "What's wrong?" Seren didn't answer at first. Then she whispered, "Humans. They return." Ethan's heart stopped. "What?" She showed him the screen, a hologram of orbiting ships, human markings blinking in red. "Your kind has entered our sky again. They bring war." Ethan felt cold all over. That can't be right. The fleet wasn't supposed to... He stopped himself. The look on her face told him enough. She thought he was a spy. Seren lifted her weapon, its edge glowing blue. "You warned them. You called them here." Ethan raised his hands quickly. "No, I didn't send any signal." But then, a small beep came from his broken communicator lying on the cave floor. Seren's eyes widened. The device was flashing weakly, sending a pulse of light. "No," Ethan whispered. "That's impossible. It's supposed to be dead." Seren's voice turned to ice. "It sends light to the sky." Ethan lunged for it. "Wait." But she was faster. A blast of energy hit the ground beside him, shaking the cave. Rocks fell from the ceiling. The child cried out in fear. "Mother!" Saren froze again, torn between fury and her child's fear. Ethan looked at her through the dust, breathing hard. "If you kill me now," he said, "you'll never stop what's coming." Serene's eyes flickered with anger and doubt. Finally, she turned away, breathing heavily. "If you lie again, human," she said, her voice like thunder, "I will end you myself." Ethan nodded slowly. "Fair deal." The light from the communicator flickered again, brighter this time. Outside, the ground trembled. The sound of engines echoed through the sky. Serene looked up sharply. Ethan whispered, "They found us. Cliffhanger, end of part 2. From above the cave, a human dropship roared through the clouds, soldiers descending fast. Serene grabbed her weapon. Ethan's heart pounded. The war he thought was over had just found him again. The cave walls shook as thunder rolled across the alien sky. Ethan looked up, dust falling from above. The sound wasn't weather. It was engines. Serene's eyes narrowed, glowing brighter as her armor came alive with faint silver light. She turned to Ethan, her voice sharp and low. "They are here." "Your kind," Ethan's heart raced. "No, they're not my people." "Not like that. I swear." But Serene had already lifted her weapon. "Your beacon called them. Your lies brought them." Before he could speak again, she pressed a hand to her armor and a small hologram appeared in the air, flickering with static. It showed the human ships entering orbit. The voice coming through was harsh and mechanical. "Recon Team Delta approaching surface. Target coordinates locked. Clean sweep order. No survivors." Ethan's face drained of color. "That's the language of Earth Command," he whispered. "They think this place is hostile." Serene turned on him. "Then they will burn what little remains of my world." The child Lyra whimpered softly from her resting place. Her tiny hands glowed faintly as if she could feel the fear in the air. Ethan moved toward the communicator, panic rising. "If I can reach them, I can stop this. I can tell them not to attack." Serene stepped in front of him, her silver armor gleaming under the cave light. "No more human tricks. I'm not tricking you." Ethan snapped. "If they come down shooting, they'll kill me too." Serene hesitated. Her eyes studied him, the fear, the truth, the desperation. Slowly, she lowered her weapon. "You have one chance," she said coldly. "Speak to them. Stop this storm. If you fail, I end you." Ethan nodded and bent over the cracked communicator. Its glass was fractured, wires torn and sparking. He opened a small panel, hands shaking, working fast. Come on," he whispered, rerouting power from his damaged suit. The device blinked to life, a weak signal pulsing through static. He pressed transmit. "This is Ethan Cole, survivor of crash vessel Horizon 3. Abort strike. Civilians on surface. Repeat, abort strike." Static answered him. Then a voice, cold and familiar, replied, "Ethan Cole? You're alive? We thought you were dead. What's your status?" Ethan's relief lasted 1 second. "You have to stop the attack. There are survivors here, not enemies." The voice hesitated. "Survivors on Rethar. That planet is quarantined. You know that. They're not hostile," Ethan insisted. "Listen." The signal cut out. The communicator hissed and the screen flashed. Transmission intercepted. Serene's eyes flashed. "What did you do?" Ethan looked up in horror. "It's not me. Someone jammed the signal." Suddenly a deeper voice broke through the device, on darker, colder. "This is Commander Voss of the human fleet. We have your location, Cole. You are under arrest for aiding alien resistance." Ethan froze. "What?" Serene's face turned to stone. "They call you traitor." He looked helpless. "I didn't do anything." "They don't understand." But the message continued. "All units, move in. Use lethal force if necessary. The alien queen must not survive." Serene's eyes blazed with fury. "You bring death wherever you walk," she said. "Even your leaders hunt you." The ground trembled again, this time closer. The cave ceiling cracked as a blinding light pierced through. A small human drop pod slammed into the ground outside, spraying dust and rock. Ethan grabbed Serene's arm. "Please, we have to hide. If they see you, they'll kill you and Lyra both." Serene pulled away. "I will not hide from murderers." Ethan stared at her. The rage and pain in her eyes, the fire of a mother ready to die for her child. He lowered his voice. "Then fight smarter. Not just fight." For a long moment she said nothing. Then finally she nodded once. Ethan grabbed the communicator and shut it off, smashing the transmitter. They can't track this now. But it was too late. From outside, A robotic drone's voice echoed through the air. Target located, engage. Blue light poured through the cave entrance as drones fired energy bolts inside. The walls exploded in bursts of flame and rock. Saren covered Lyra with her body, energy shield forming around them. Ethan dived beside them, pulling his sidearm. The sound of battle filled the cave. Humming drones, plasma fire, the smell of burning crystal. Saren moved like lightning, slicing through 2 drones with her weapon. Sparks lit the air like fireworks. Ethan fired at another, hitting its sensor. The machine crashed into the wall, but more came. "Too many back!" Serene shouted, pulling Ethan toward a tunnel behind the cave. "This way!" They ran through the glowing passage as explosions shook the ground. Lyra clung to her mother's arm, her tiny eyes wide with terror. Behind them, the cave entrance collapsed, sealing off the path they came from. Ethan gasped for breath. "We can't keep running. They'll scan for heat signatures." Serene's armor flickered. "There is one place they cannot follow." "Where?" Ethan asked. She looked back over her shoulder, her expression unreadable. "The ruins of the First War. The dead city." Ethan frowned. "You mean where it all started?" Serene nodded. "As where humans broke the sky." Ethan's heart sank. That place was forbidden. Deadly radiation, ancient weapons still active, but they had no choice. Behind them, the rumble of engines grew louder. Ahead, darkness waited. The night sky above Rathar turned red with fire. Human dropships roared down like burning comets, their engines shaking the ground. In the glowing blue forest, trees bent under the shock waves, their light dimming in fear. Ethan and Seren ran through the shadows, Lyra held tightly in her mother's arms. Behind them, explosions echoed. Human drones searching, scanning, hunting. Ethan's lungs burned. "They're everywhere. We can't outrun them forever." Seren didn't slow down. Her armor glowed with silver light, every step silent and fast. "Then we stop running," she said coldly. "We fight." They reached a rocky ridge overlooking a valley. Once a city. Now it was a graveyard of metal towers, half buried in glowing dust. Ethan looked around, realizing the ruins were older than the war itself. The structures hummed faintly, alive with forgotten energy. Saren set Lyra down behind a fallen column and knelt beside her. "Stay hidden, my heart," she whispered in her language, her voice trembling just slightly. Lyra nodded, her little eyes full of fear. Ethan crouched beside them. "This place, what is it?" Saren looked toward the ruins. "The core of Rethar's defense. Once we ruled this world with pride. Humans came and this city fell first." Ethan stared at the crumbling walls. "You mean my people started here?" Serene's tone was like ice. "Your people ended everything here." Before Ethan could reply, a harsh sound split the air, the metallic scream of drones closing in. Red targeting beams cut through the dust, moving fast toward their position. "Down!" Ethan shouted. The first explosion hit nearby. Rocks flew through the air as the drones opened fire. Plasma bolts tearing through the ruins. Ethan rolled behind a pillar, blaster in hand, firing back. Sparks burst in the darkness. Serene leaped into motion, faster than any human could move. Her weapon shifted from blade to spear, glowing like molten silver. She sliced through one drone midair. Its pieces fell burning to the ground. Ethan fired at another drone and hit its power core. It exploded, lighting up the valley. But for everyone they destroyed, 3 more appeared. The sky swarmed with red lights. Ethan ducked behind cover, panting. "We're outnumbered." Seren glanced at him, her voice calm but fierce. "Then you fight smarter, human." She pressed her hand to the ground, whispering something in her language. The ruins around them started to glow, old alien symbols lighting up like veins of energy. A sudden pulse spread through the earth. "What did you do?" Ethan asked, eyes wide. Serene's voice was steady. "I woke the old shields." Blue energy walls erupted around them, blocking drone fire. Plasma blasts bounced off harmlessly, scattering light like sparks. Ethan smiled faintly. "Now that's a trick." Serene didn't answer. She was watching the sky, the main ship descending. It wasn't just drones now. Human soldiers in black armor were dropping down in lines, landing hard, weapons ready. Ethan's breath caught. They sent the Reapers. Serene gave him a cold look. "Friends of yours?" "They're not soldiers," Ethan said quietly. "They're hunters. They don't take prisoners." The ground trembled as the Reapers approached, heavy boots crushing stone. Their helmets glowed red, scanning the ruins. "Area clear in 30 seconds. one of them said through a metallic voice. Ethan's mind raced. We can't hold this shield long. The old tech's unstable. Serene looked toward the center of the ruin, a large tower half buried in dust. There is another way. Beneath that tower lies the heart of Rethar, the old energy core. It can hide us from scanners. Ethan frowned. Or blow us up. Serene's silver eyes met his. Both are better than dying here. Before they could move, a drone slipped through the shield gap and fired. The blast hit the ground beside them. Ethan felt the shockwave throw him backward. He landed hard, pain shooting through his shoulder. He looked up just in time to see a Reaper soldier drop from above, aiming straight at Serene. She spun, blocked the strike, and countered with a glowing slash that cracked his armor open. Sparks flew. The soldier fell, unmoving. Ethan crawled to his feet and shot another drone. Serene, we need to move now! Serene lifted Lyra into her arms again. Stay close. They ran through the broken streets toward the fallen tower. Energy bolts followed them, burning the ground inches away. One hit Ethan's leg. He stumbled, yelling in pain. Serene stopped instantly. Instead of leaving him, she turned back, grabbed him by the arm, and pulled him up. Move, human. He limped beside her, stunned. You saved me? Her tone was sharp. You saved my child. We are not even yet. They dove inside the tower just as another blast hit behind them. The structure groaned but held. Inside, faint lights flickered, ancient machines humming back to life as they entered. Ethan fell against a wall, gasping. His leg throbbed. Serene placed Lyra down and touched a control panel, glowing weakly. This place still breathes, she murmured. The heart sleeps below. Ethan looked at her, pain in his voice. What's the heart? Serene turned, her eyes dim with sadness. The planet's life. Its core, and maybe its only hope. Ethan frowned. You mean we can save this world? Serene nodded slowly. If it still remembers how to live. Outside, the roar of engines grew louder again, the Reapers closing in on their signal. Ethan gritted his teeth. Then we'd better wake it fast. The tower groaned like a dying beast. Dust fell from above and blue light rippled through the walls as ancient systems woke from centuries of sleep. Ethan steadied himself against the wall, breathing hard. The hologram's final words echoed in his mind. Your world died because of you both. Serene stood beside him, silent and tense. Her silver eyes reflected the flickering light. What did that mean? She asked quietly. Ethan shook his head. I don't know. But if this tower is still active, it might tell us the truth. She didn't reply. Instead, she picked up Lyra, who clung to her mother's neck, frightened by the rumbling sounds. We go down, Serene said. The heart is below. They moved through a spiral corridor that descended deep into the ground. Strange blue symbols glowed faintly on the walls, pulsing like veins. The air grew warmer, heavier, humming with unseen energy. Ethan's damaged leg hurt, but he pushed through. You've been here before? Serene shook her head. No, my people sealed this place long ago. They said it was cursed, where the first human touched the sky of Rethar. Ethan frowned. Touch the sky? She gave a sad smile. It means brought fire from above and on the day your kind arrived. They reached a massive door made of black crystal. It towered above them like a mountain. Serene placed her hand on its surface. The markings lit up under her touch, scanning her energy. The door opened slowly with a deep echoing hum. Inside, a vast chamber spread before them. The heart of Rethar. It was breathtaking. The entire room was a sphere of light and motion. Streams of glowing liquid energy flowed through transparent pipes that twisted like veins. At the center floated a giant orb of blue fire, pulsing like a heartbeat. Ethan whispered, It's alive. Serene stepped forward, her expression unreadable. It is the planet's core and its soul. When the war began, both our weapons struck here. The heart broke, and our world began to die. Ethan stared in silence. His throat felt tight. Then both sides destroyed this place. Serene nodded slowly. Not only humans. My people used forbidden power. We both wanted to win. And lost everything. Lyra looked up at the glowing orb, her small voice trembling. Mother, and it's sad. Serene smiled softly and brushed the child's hair. Yes, little light. The planet still cries. Ethan walked toward a console half buried in dust. Old human letters blinked faintly on its cracked screen. This is human tech, he said. Our systems are here. We built part of this. Seren turned sharply. You lie. He pointed at the console. Look for yourself. My people tried to fuse our machines with your energy network. We wanted to control it. But maybe we broke it instead. Seren's eyes hardened. You mean you killed it? Ethan's voice rose. No, I wasn't even born when this happened. But maybe we can fix it. For a long moment, silence filled the chamber. Only the soft hum of the heart pulsing like a wounded animal. Serene finally spoke. How? Ethan placed his hand on the console. If I can stabilize the core flow, the planet's surface could heal. Stop the quakes, stop the radiation. She crossed her arms. And if you fail? He met her gaze. Then everything dies anyway. Seren studied him for several seconds, then nodded slowly. Do it, human. But if this is a trap, he cut her off. You'll kill me. I get it. He started working, connecting broken cables, rerouting power through his suit battery. Sparks danced across the console. The orb pulsed faster, its glow shifting from blue to white. The ground shook. The lights flickered. Ethan frowned. It's unstable. The core is fighting back. Seren stepped closer, placing her hand on the orb's energy stream. The light spread around her fingers, wrapping her in a soft glow. Her voice softened, almost like a song. The heart knows me. It remembers my people. Ethan looked up, amazed. You're... Calming it, she smiled faintly. It responds to life, not machines. The tremors eased slightly. Ethan adjusted the controls again, sweat dripping from his face. We might just pull this off? Then a sound broke through the calm. A sharp beep from his communicator. Ethan froze. The voice that followed made his blood run cold. This is Commander Voss. We have visual on the target. Begin orbital strike, Seren's eyes flared. They will destroy everything. Ethan grabbed the communicator. No, there's a child here, civilians. You'll kill us all. But the signal went dead. A distant rumble shook the chamber, like thunder but deeper. Ethan realized what it was. They've fired? Seren looked at him with silent fury. Your kind never stops. The ground split open, a blast wave rushing through the tunnels. The ceiling cracked, debris falling around them. Ethan shielded Lyra, yelling over the noise. We have to protect the core. Serene's armor flared brighter. Then we fight for it. She leapt toward the collapsing structure, using her energy to reinforce the barriers. Ethan ran to the console, typing fast, rerouting power to form a protective shield. The heart of Rathar glowed wildly, its pulse stronger, angrier, alive. And in the chaos, something strange happened. The orb's light reached out, touching both Ethan and Seren. For a heartbeat, they saw each other's memories, pain, loss, hope, shared through pure energy. When the light faded, they looked at each other in stunned silence. Seren whispered, You saw. Ethan nodded. Everything. A tear of silver rolled down her cheek. Then you know why I fight. He looked at her, voice steady. And you know why I can't stop. The explosions grew louder above. The chamber's walls began to break. Seren turned toward the deeper tunnels. We must go to the core's center. It's control heart. It's our only chance. Ethan nodded, holding Lyra close. Then let's finish this. The tunnel shook as Ethan and Seren ran deeper toward the planet's core. The sound of collapsing stone and roaring fire chased them from behind. Every explosion above was a reminder. The humans were still striking from orbit. Lyra clung to her mother's neck, silent tears glowing on her silver cheeks. The light from the heart followed them like a living flame, guiding their way through the dark. Ethan's voice broke through the chaos. We're running out of time. Seren didn't slow down. The core is near, she said, her voice steady even as the ground trembled. They burst into a massive chamber, the control heart. It was brighter than anything Ethan had ever seen. The orb from before now towered over them, pulsing with violent energy. Streams of light flowed through the air like rivers of fire. Ethan shielded his eyes. It's unstable. Serene placed Lyra down and stepped forward, her armor glowing. This is where balance is made, she said quietly. Where the planet decides who lives and who doesn't. Ethan moved to the console nearby, scanning the display. We can still stop the overload, but someone has to stay behind to manually stabilize it. Seren turned to him, her eyes knowing. Someone? He nodded slowly. The system needs a living connection, someone to merge with the core's energy field. It needs a heartbeat to match its own. Saren's expression didn't change. Then I will do it. Ethan froze. What? Oh, you can't. She stepped closer, calm and unafraid. This is my world, human. My duty. Ethan's hands tightened on the console. You have a child. Lyra needs you. She won't survive without you. Serene's gaze softened. She will. She is stronger than she looks. Lyra, hearing the words, ran to her mother and grabbed her hand. No, mother. Don't go. Serene knelt, her silver armor dimming. She cupped the child's face gently. You are the light of Rethar, my little one. You will live for both of us. Ethan's throat tightened. He couldn't watch this. There has to be another way, he said desperately. We can reroute power, Seren shook her head. No time, the core will break in minutes. If it dies, the planet dies. She turned toward the glowing platform in the center of the room. The energy spiraled upward like a storm. Ethan grabbed her arm. Wait, if you do this, you'll die. She looked back at him, eyes calm, almost peaceful. You would do the same for your child. I know that now. He stared at her, speechless. The heart pulsed again, shaking the ground. Sparks of blue light rained from the ceiling. Ethan's communicator beeped faintly. A distant human voice breaking through static. Ethan Cole, respond. The fleet is retreating. The core is destabilizing. You have to evacuate. He looked at the communicator, then at Seren. If I go, they'll leave. You'll be trapped here forever. Seren smiled sadly. Forever is better than extinction. The words hit him like a blade. Ethan looked down at Lyra, her small eyes wide with fear, clutching her mother's armor. He made a decision before he could stop himself. He stepped forward. No, I'll do it. Seren's head snapped toward him. What? You said the system needs a heartbeat. Mine will work just as well. She shook her head violently. You don't belong to this world. It will destroy you. Ethan smiled faintly. Then maybe I'll finally belong somewhere. He moved toward the platform, ignoring the pain in his leg. The light around the core flared, reacting to his presence. Serene grabbed his arm, her grip strong. I will not let you. Ethan looked at her, his voice breaking. You saved me. You saved my life twice. Let me return that. For the first time, her eyes filled with tears, and glowing silver tears that fell silently. You don't understand. If you die, the heart will remember you. It will keep you here, trapped, alone. He smiled sadly. Then at least I'll be with your world. Lyra sobbed softly behind them. Don't go. Ethan knelt beside her, his voice gentle. Hey, you're going to take care of your mom, okay? The little girl nodded, tears shining like stars. Ethan stood, turned to Seren one last time and whispered, Tell her humans aren't all monsters. Before she could stop him, he stepped into the center of the platform. The light consumed him instantly. Blue fire wrapped around his body, lifting him into the air. His heartbeat synced with the planet's pulse. Strong, steady, alive. The heart roared like thunder. The shaking stopped. The light spread through the tunnels, through the ground, through the sky. Outside, the storms faded. The fire and the clouds vanished. The planet began to heal. Serene fell to her knees, holding Lyra tightly. The energy softened around them, glowing like dawn. When the light finally dimmed, Ethan was gone. Only a faint echo of his heartbeat remained in the air. Seren closed her eyes. He saved my world, she whispered. He saved us all. Lyra looked up at her mother. Will we see him again? Seren didn't answer. She just held her child closer, tears falling like silver rain. But deep inside the heart, a soft pulse still glowed. Steady, human, alive. For many days, the planet Rethar was silent. No more thunder in the sky, no more fire falling from above. Only peace, soft, fragile, and new. The glowing forests had begun to heal. The rivers that once ran black now shimmered blue again. Alive with light, the heart of the planet had stopped its angry trembling, and high above the human ships were gone. Seren stood alone on a cliff overlooking the valley. The wind carried the scent of rain and metal. In her arms, little Lyra slept peacefully for the first time since the war began. But Seren's eyes were distant. Her gaze was fixed on the horizon, where the great tower once stood. It was now just ruins, half buried in the earth. The place where Ethan Cole had vanished. Every day she came here. Every night she listened, hoping for a sound, a whisper, a sign. She remembered his final words. Tell her humans aren't all monsters. And every time those words echoed in her mind, her heart ached a little more. That evening, As the twin moons rose over Rethar, the wind shifted. A faint sound broke through the silence in a rhythmic pulse. Slow, steady, familiar. Serene froze. Her eyes widened. The sound came from the communicator hanging at her side. She lifted it quickly, pressing the button. Static hissed, and then a weak voice, distant but clear. "Seren, can you hear me?" Her breath caught. "Ethan?" She whispered, more static. Then again, faint but real. I'm here. Not sure where." The light. It didn't kill me, I think. The heart kept me alive. Serene's knees nearly gave way. Tears filled her eyes. "Ethan, the heart merged with you. You became part of it," she said softly, as if afraid to break the fragile connection. "Maybe," he replied, his voice like a ghost carried by wind. "I can see things. Feel the planet breathing. I think I am the planet now." Seren pressed her hand to her chest, feeling his pulse through the communicator. "You saved us all," she whispered. "No," he said. "We saved each other." For a moment there was silence, only the soft hum of the communicator and the wind whispering through the trees. Then Ethan spoke again, his tone warm, faintly amused. "How's Lyra?" Seren smiled, her tears falling freely. "She grows stronger every day. She asks about you, every night. Tell her." He paused, his voice cracking. "Tell her I'll always be watching the stars, and that every time she looks up, I'll be there." Seren closed her eyes. "She'll know," she said softly. "We both will." The signal flickered again, weaker now. "Seren, promise me something. Anything. Don't let the hate start again. If humans return, make them see this world isn't their enemy. Don't let my death mean nothing." Her jaw tightened. "It won't. You have my word, Ethan Cole." The communicator crackled, his final words barely a whisper. "Then maybe there's still hope. For both our worlds." The signal faded into silence. The small light on the device blinked once, then went dark. Seren stood there for a long time, holding the dead communicator close to her chest. The wind brushed her silver hair, carrying faint echoes of his voice through the valley. Lyra stirred in her arms, waking slowly. "Mother, did you talk to him again?" Seren smiled gently. "Yes, my light. He's still here." The little girl looked up at the sky. "Can we see him?" Seren pointed toward the horizon where the heart's glow faintly pulsed through the ground. "He's part of the world now. Every time you feel the wind, or see the light in the trees, that's him." Lyra nodded softly, resting her head on her mother's shoulder. "Then he's everywhere." Seren held her close. "Yes," she whispered. "He's everywhere." Days turned to weeks. The new Rethar began to rise, alien and human survivors working together to rebuild what had been lost. Seren became their leader, a voice of unity between two races that once hated each other. She taught her people Ethan's words. Not all humans are monsters. And far beneath the ground, deep inside the heart of Rethar, the light still pulsed. Within it, a faint figure stood, Ethan Cole, surrounded by glowing energy. His body no longer human, but his heart still his own. He watched over the planet he had died to save. Every breath of wind, every heartbeat of the world carried his presence. Sometimes when the moons rose, the heart would whisper, soft and distant, through the trees. "Seren, are you still watching the stars?" And high above, on the cliffs, she would look up at the glowing sky and whisper back, "Always, Ethan, always."